like maybe using some pick actions might get them free, and then we could kind of work off it. If they try to stay with matchups, we could throw back. Or if we could get leverage, then we could kind of circle the ball and attack them from.
Christian Shrimpsey College cross coach. Matt Rambo, when he came here from LaSalle, was just a finisher, and then he slowly developed his passing skills and became an all-around player. Just describe how important Matt Rambo was to this program, and especially to his offensive, even as a senior leader.
You know, sometimes you get the right guy at the right time, and certainly for us, Matt came in at a perfect time. You know, we graduated some attackmen, and we needed somebody. We needed a few guys that could come in and play right away. And Matt physically, you know, just the way he's built, was ready to play. Is, you know, basically what the day he walked on campus. But just a little bit stronger than your typical freshman. And then I think what really helped him, I think I talked about this last week, you know, that those guys, it took a lot of lumps in 13, you know, or excuse me, in 14. You know, it was the kind of Michael Chanachuk and a couple juniors and a lot of freshmen. Timmy Rokans was playing a lot back then. Kyle was playing a lot back then. Matt was playing a lot back then. I think in the semifinal game against Notre Dame, we had 4 freshmen on offense at one time. And I can remember that game. It was like every time we came down, it was a different guy turning the ball over, and I think they were a little bit nervous. And you know, obviously, those guys were so much more poised today, and they were a big part of what we did today. But you know, Matt is a guy that works really hard. Matt is a prideful guy. He loves competition. You know, sometimes he gets a little stubborn. So do I. That leads to some interesting moments. But he knows I love him, and I know he loves me. So I like that sometimes, is that he will fight you a little bit because he is passionate. I think his poise and the fact that he is so positive now when things aren't going well is a true show to his maturity, because you're right, his game's evolved. It was always there. I think we just got brought out by being around really good players and being around guys like Coach Rever.
Meyer Consulting Engineers. In the past 5 years, our organization has completed over 1,300 projects in the U.S. and abroad, including many structures at the University of Maryland. For structural engineering and materials testing and inspection, call Meyer Consulting Engineers.
Yeah, John, Roman Subs, Washington Post, two-parter for you. When the clock hit 0, what was that moment like for you? What did you do in that moment? And then you said that you guys did some things differently this weekend. Can you elaborate?
Sure. Yeah, it really hasn't sunk in yet. You know, I was in kind of quiet moments, you know, just being transparent. You know, I remember 2 years ago being in here, and I think we were adjacent to Denver's locker room, and I remember being up here with Matt Dunn and a couple other guys, and we could hear them celebrating, and it just, man, it just kind of ripped your heart out. You know, our kids were in tears and all that, and sometimes you reflect on those things. You know, it hasn't really hit, obviously, you know, hug the coaches and our staff and some of our staffs in here. We just have, our coaching staff sacrifices so much, and our, just Kristen Brown's in here, and our athletic director, you know, Kevin Anderson. We have so many people that help us do what we do that people don't know about. So hug them, thank them, and I think that's really the first thing that I thought of. I think what we did differently, there was a big advantage this year to be our hotel being right here. Because I can remember back in 2012 here, we stayed up in Boston, and it was a long way to go. And I remember that I think the semis on Saturday were even later. I thought we played Duke in the second game, and it was a little bit later. Our kids got back pretty late, and it was such a quick turnaround to get ready to play a really good team in less than 48 hours. Even the conference tournaments, a lot of times you're playing at 3 and 5 or 5 and 7, and then you're playing the championship at night too. So it is a quick turnaround, you know, even for us playing that later game, and then we're back to 1 o'clock. So we got back a little bit sooner. We actually met on Saturday night. It helped both teams, candidly, to not only have played them once, but play them twice. The scouting report was already done. We had film cut up. We were prepared. So we got together Saturday night and just kind of reviewed and went back to Ohio State. And a lot of times if you play the second game, by the time you get back, the kids are exhausted. You don't know how much they can retain. And I think this group wasn't just satisfied winning Saturday. You know, it meant a lot to them to win. Denver's a really good team, but you could see there was a little bit more, okay, we came here for more mentality versus some other years. You know, because it is special to get here and to win the semifinal. You hope they're excited. So I think starting that preparation, Saturday night was big for us. We really started getting into like the ice baths and all that quicker this year. So guys got IVs right after the game. And then we had more video and more stuff prepared for breakfast on Sunday. Just again, on Sunday, being here, we went over, we did all of our media, and we were in and out and out. It gave us so much more time to be able to prepare for the game. So that was huge for us. And we were able to watch film several times because we have man up, man down meetings, we have face-off meetings, we have offense, we have defense. So we have a lot of things to get through. And Ohio State is so good in the special teams. Their man up is phenomenal. Obviously, Jake Withers is really good. So we got to get those units together, and you just don't have much time. You also want to get them off their feet. You want to get mentally rested. So you're trying to balance all that. And I think the proximity thing was huge for us.
Kevin,
First of all, congratulations, Coach. Second of all, T.D. Erlin, Trevor Baptiste, and then Jake Withers. And today you actually won the face-off battle against Jake Withers. Talk about your coach, Mr. Mattis, and your team of face-off guys. And also I'd like to know, are you on the recruiting trail tomorrow with Charles Toomey?
You know, Chris does an awesome job for us. You know, being a face-off coach, it's almost like being a pitching coach. If you've never pitched, you don't really know some of the nuances, or a batting coach. So Chris knows so much more just because he is a professional player. He works for the Face-Off Academy. That's what he does. So he can see things a lot of us can't. So not only during the game making adjustments, which every game we go in with it with a plan, and then we make some adjustments. And then you have subtle adjustments with who you want to go with and then what they're going to do. And, you know, Chris and I watch a lot of film together. I listen a lot, and just because I think he really knows what he's doing. And the old saying my friend John Stapleton always says is the strength of a wolf is the pack. The strength of a wolf is the pack. Those four guys, Alex Giovinco, Will Bonaparte, John Garino, and Austin, battle each other every day. And we kind of, towards the middle of the year when we weren't doing well, we philosophically changed and we actually went harder in practice with those guys. And it's almost like in football where you're just playing, like maybe, you know, you're going with just pads, like, you know, shoulder pads on. We went full pads and those guys got after each other and we dialed up the intensity. And then we started two-poling more, and I think that's really helped us down the stretch. Obviously, John did such a good job today that we actually went away from the two-pole because we wanted to be a little bit more protected at the back end. But I think the last time we played Ohio State, we really needed those poles, and I thought you saw that on Saturday. Like Matt Neufeld was phenomenal. I think he had 6 ground balls. Nick Wazowski had his best game ever today. Boston guy coming back home. So I think it's always been, you know, obviously 3-on-3, 10-on-10 with us, but I think Chris and those four deserve a lot of the credit. I'm sure they'll deflect it to the wing guys, but man, they've really busted their butt, and I don't think we're here without Chris for sure. We'll probably get after the recruiting pretty soon, you know, definitely. So I feel like we're behind a little bit, but that's okay. Try to catch my breath there for a second.
Kevin, we'll go up here. And Ed, did you have
Casey Bach, Lax.com. Coach Tillman, you've had one of the more, I guess, incredible journeys as a coach. Can you just talk about the last 3 years? Just, you know, maybe talk about the last 3 years. I know you're a guy who puts a lot of pressure on yourself, and so I'm interested in just knowing how you've evolved. How do you think you've changed as a coach in the last 3-4 years?
It's an interesting question. I guess I never, for me personally, focus on the end result, and obviously you hear it from, and we do a lot of Nick Saban type stuff, and you know, we really focus on the process. We feel like the outcome is a byproduct of what you do every day. So, like, it is such a, and I've talked to, most of you guys have heard this before, but it's such a, when you get to the championship, it's so hard to see your kids sad, but also when you get to the weekend and you either lose in semis or finals, you're lucky to be there, and, I was talking to a couple guys before, like, they were great coaches, like Bob Schillinglaw, that just retired, he's been there, 40 years, like, he never won a championship, but he's a great coach and a great person. So you kind of, like, you're proud of the kids to get to championship weekend because it means a lot for our school and our alums to be here. But you're also disappointed that you got so close and you weren't able to get it done. So you kind of go back and go, all right, what could we do different? So you're always reflecting back and looking at what can we do better. And we certainly kind of look at every aspect of the program, but we talk to the kids a lot. I think with this group especially, and in the last few years as well, we're really trusting in our players. If Isaiah goes, coach, we need to back off on practice and go shorter, we go shorter. If the guys want to do some different things, then we do it. Candidly, one thing that the guys have been doing, which I actually kind of like, is midway through the year, I think another big change was Nick Manus. Nick Manus was playing pole in the beginning of the year, playing close because Matt got hurt. And so we had Nick playing pole, and then right after Villanova, we switched Nick to short stick, and we got so much better defensively because Nick's been here 5 years. He's really smart, and we've played better since then. But then at that point, they brought on this huge speaker on the back of the bus. And I would say early on, 90% of the music was horrific. They loved it. I couldn't understand any of it. But it's gotten much better, and it became kind of their thing. And these guys are a loose group. They work really hard. Obviously you can see how hard they play, but like their thing was like this speaker thing. They hook up their phones and they just start cranking tunes, and like it kept them loose. And it's funny, we were playing somebody, and like the coach was like, "We're ready." And I go, "Why?" And they're like, "Oh my God!" Like you can hear the music. They're good. So they're not uptight, but they're really focused. And it's funny, they have one song that I don't know why they picked it, but they love that song, Dire Straits, "Money for Nothing." You could give me a million guesses, I would never guess that song. They love like when the drum starts going and it has the guitar riff. So every road trip, every time we come back, every time before the game, that song comes on, and they will not get sick of it. And they just keep playing it. I don't know why that song. I actually like Dire Straits a lot. That would not be my first choice. But it's been pretty fun because, like, for an old guy, like, go rock some like Young MC and things like that. So I actually kind of like it. There's some Van Halen things that I actually like better. So that's pretty cool. So they maybe humor the old guy. I think when we won the Big Time Championship, we won, and we left Columbus at 11, and we drove 7 straight hours. And their goal was to just crank the music. It was like 3:30 in the morning, and they were still like just cranking tunes. And eventually, like they gave in, they fell asleep, which thank God for all of us. But that's kind of been like this cool thing, and I've kind of like, all right, if that's your thing, go ahead. So I think trusting those guys, trusting your older players, kind of knowing where that sweet spot was, has really helped me. I never really focus on like me. I'm lucky to have the job I have. It's a dream come true. I love coaching. I love working with young people. To me, it's about teaching. My mom was a teacher. To be at a storied place like Maryland, I thank my lucky stars every day. I don't define how we're doing, winning or losing exclusively. Sure, you want to win games, but we're doing some other good things. I sat up here last year, and we talked about how well we're doing academically. We do a ton of community service. I'm proud of those guys. Every single one of our seniors just graduated. Like, that's the stuff that's most important to me. But I feel like if we're doing all of the personal development and developing young people the right way, it leads to a championship, a winning mentality that carries over on the field. Not always, because you got to have really good players, but when you get that combination, I think you have a chance. And that's probably kind of working back to the coaching styles, maybe sliding in a little bit more Dabo Sweeney type stuff. He's pretty loose with his guys. I think he lets his hair down. I can't believe Heacock and Rambo remembered, but I made a bet with them that I would get a tattoo if we won the championship. And they actually just brought it up, so because it may be the smallest tattoo in the history of it.
Well,
You get a tattoo on the bottom of your foot.
a turtle?
I haven't figured it out. It's going to be small. And I'm always joking with those guys because they love guys that have tattoos, and I'm like, I would never do that. And I got to follow through with my words. So I just can't believe those guys. They can't remember like offensive plays. So I forget. Yeah.
All right, Eddie, do you have a question on lacrosse, music, or tattoos?
I personally would go with Sultans of Swing. Okay, John, seriously, we sports people love numbers. The number you don't have to hear anymore going forward is 1975. Just what does that mean? What's that going to mean to your guys from this day on?
I try to candidly shield our kids from that, and our alums are awesome about that. You talk to our alums, they're always it's about you guys right now. Like, it's your team, we got our opportunity. So I'm really pleased that they don't load on that. Certainly, we're not going to run away and hide from that. We realize it's been a long time. We've kind of like embraced our past and drawn strength from those guys. We bring guys back all the time. And Dave Saunders, one of our alums, was with us at dinner last night. So like, we get it. So I don't think those guys think too much about it just because we don't bring up, hey, come on guys, it's been a long time. It's always been about them. This is their moment. This is their opportunity. For me, yeah, I think about it a lot because I see those guys and I see how passionate they are about lacrosse, and I see what Maryland lacrosse has done for them. The guys that graduated 40 years ago, 30 years ago, last couple of years. I mean, we had a bunch of our alums from the last 2 years there. They were definitely having fun on Saturday, based on the pictures I saw. But this program means so much, and you are motivated to work hard because like, when you win, it makes some people happy. Obviously, when you win a championship, like, no one has to talk about it anymore. I kind of always felt like we were relevant, we were getting there, we were close. It's not like we haven't been there. I understand, you're defined sometimes by championships, but it's not like we weren't in the category. We've been at championship weekend, which means a lot. Certainly you want to get it done, but for them to not have to worry about that, hear it, I think it does mean a lot to a lot of people. I think less to our kids because we've kind of really focused on just not dealing with it.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you.